I'm going to try to be here for a few minutes today, bring you up to date. Now, before I begin with the documents on the Diddy case, I want to go over on what I was upset about yesterday, okay? And let's talk about President Donald Trump. Yes, Donald Trump has the pardoning power to pardon anybody he wants, okay? Deadline posted that he's considering to pardon Diddy. I doubt that very seriously. Now, I want you folks to realize I'm not a lawyer, okay? I'm an ex-gangster who understands the laws, and I've been through the legal system several times. So I understand the law. But I understand a lot about politics. And I doubt very seriously that President Trump is going to bed at night thinking about Sean Diddy, P. Diddy, or what. Good morning, Agent Orange. How are you, my friend? Thank you for coming. All right? How did that begin? I'm going to tell you how I think it began. Mark Garagos is a lawyer that wants to be on every stage he could, okay, except inside a courtroom. He's not the greatest lawyer in the world, but he has a reputation because he ends up representing a lot of celebrities. So I feel he is the guy that's behind getting that article in Deadline stating that Trump is considering it. Yeah, Trump did come out and say he would consider it. That was it. He didn't say, I will pardon him or I won't pardon him. Trump has bigger things on his plate. He's got the terrorists. He's got the economy that affects everybody. He's thinking about midterms. You understand whether you like Trump or you don't like Trump, okay? I respect both sides. But you got to understand, this guy's got bigger things on the plate than P. Diddy. So let's get past that. As I predicted, and for those of you who saw the short video I did last night in my pajamas, okay, I predicted that the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Southern District would come out before midnight, East Coast time, like they did. We got the report immediately. It's 11 pages. I have it right here. I'm going to be going over this with you, okay? Now, let me go over and let's get some people here. Okay, Agent Orange, we got you, we got my girl Angel there, thank you. All right, some of the main points of this thing. First of all, the court has already denied bail on Diddy. The judge ruled on July 2nd, 2025, that Combs must stay in custody. The defense hasn't shown any new legal reason or evidence to reconsider that ruling. Remember, what they are doing here, folks, and by the way, I know all you folks here have already subscribed. And for those new people, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, like, share, and help me out. And there's that little thanks button. I would appreciate anything you could do there. I thank you. Okay. The defense is arguing that nobody that's been charged before on the Mann Act, that they've all been given bail. That might be true. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. Okay? But this is much more than the Mann Act that Mark Garagos goes on TMZ and talks about. Okay? Him and Henry Levin, whatever his name is, they're good friends. Okay? That's it. However, the other thing that they're complaining, jail conditions. Come on, jail conditions is nothing unusual, folks. okay? That's the way it is. NDC was terrible when I was there, and I was there from 2008 to 2010. So I know it inside and out very well. It was horrible then. It's only got worse, all right? Well, what do you think prison is going to be if you go to prison, okay? It's not a country club. NDC Brooklyn Jail has improved significantly. More staff, better medical care, fewer lockdowns. No record of Diddy himself being mistreated or exposed to violence. Previously, his lawyer even praised, all right, how good Diddy was being treated there. The defense, and here's the big part of this, the defense filed a new motion 27 days after the ruling. That was 13 days too late. It fails to meet the strict standard for reconsideration. No new fact, no legal error, or no injustice. No exceptional circumstances. Okay? Now let's get right into it here, folks. I know I'm earlier than usual. I went to bed last night after I did that short. I tell you, I couldn't sleep because I was thinking about this. Okay? Case number 1-24 CR 00542-AS. To the Honorable Judge Aaron Subaranium, United States District Judge, Southern District of New York. Dear Judge, despite the court's clear ruling that the defendant must be detained pending sentencing following his conviction on 2 felony accounts, the defendant moves again for bail, as the court correctly found after written and oral submission by the parties on July 2nd, as I said earlier. Yes, you would have thought that his lawyers would have, but you got to understand, you got the defense and the offense, okay? The offense happens to be the United States government. They have many more lawyers, many more clerks digging in to come up with their information. The defense, they're going to come up for all the reasons. Thank you, Nancy Flowers. Nancy Flowers always comes through. God bless you. I appreciate that there. See, Nancy Flower hits that thanks button for me. Thank you. God bless. The defense is going to look for the reasons why they feel he should be out on bail. And their reasons are based around that nobody else on the Mann Act, all right, has stayed in jail. $1 million defense. Yeah, Agent Orange, it is a multi-million-dollar defense, okay? The defendant has presented no reason for the court to reconsider his detention. No new reasons here, folks. You gotta remember, Justice Marania listened to every single second of the court's hearing. Like Diddy was going to trial, everything. Okay? He's seen that video of Diddy beating Cassie. He's seen it 1,000,000 times. So that's it. Diddy's lawyers told the judge that their client was a violent man. His own lawyer said that. And I think that's going to come back again to bite them in the ass. A defendant's bail application pending appeal was previously denied. A renewed motion for bail is properly considered as motion for reconsidering by the court. And then they list a lot of cases. I'm not going to bore you with that. All right? The standard for granting a motion for reconsideration is strict. Shader versus CXS, Trent Randolph, all those. Although the federal rules of criminal procedure do not provide for motions for reconsideration, Local Criminal Rule 49 permits such motions under certain limitations. A motion for reconsideration of a court order determining a motion must be filed within 14 days after the court's determination of the original motion. 14 days. A memorandum longer than 10 pages in length, setting forth concisely the matters or controlling decisions that counsel believes the court has overlooked, must accompany the motion. 14 days. Diddy's lawyers filed for reconsideration of bail 13 days too late. Now, the judge can deny the defense's motion for bail entirely on that. Thank you, Duhari, new follower, new subscriber. Appreciate that. Okay? Everybody loves my painting here. All right, let's go on here, folks. The defendant has failed to show any exceptional reason. Even setting aside the defendant's failure to meet or even address the proper standard for a motion reconsideration, the defendant's motion still failed, as this court previously found, because the defendant was convicted of felonies under Chapter 117. His detention is mandatory pursuant to the Bail Reform Act. And once again, the defendant has not met the requirement of the so-called safety valve in 18 U.S.C., which requires defendant to prove by clear and convincing evidence that they are not a flight risk or danger and that exceptional reason exists making detention appropriate. Morning, everybody, and I thank you all for coming once again, okay? And this is very interesting, okay? I gotta tell you, I think that the defense, when they crafted their motion, they did it really good, but the prosecution has come back with a much better one. There is nothing exceptional about the defendant's Mann Act convictions. The defendant spills much ink explaining why the underlying facts of his conviction make his continual incarceration exceptional. However, the defendant's arguments are baseless, misleading, and run counter to the clear intent expressed by Congress. First, the court should not entertain the defendant's request to override the clear intent of Congress by putting aside the mandatory detention provision in favor of examining the facts underlying his conviction. The defendant points to no authority for his novel theory. You know, folks, and let's go back to yesterday, all right? When I got upset again, you know, I heard somebody saying that, you know, and like they got it, like they're picking up the phone talking to President Trump, which they're not doing. Okay, people come out and they don't give you factual information. They're looking for clicks, likes, and subscribers. Yes, I want all that there. All right, and I like it when people do that thanks button. Yeah. I try to do my best and give you the most accurate information that I could. But one thing about me, I'm not going to lie to you, I'm not going to bullshit you, okay? And I'm not going to say I'm right all the time, but I'm not wrong that often. But there's something that I want to get to here, folks, okay? And then they answer all the defense's arguments of why he shouldn't get bail. That one. Okay? The defendant's detention at MDC is not exceptional. Like I told you, it's not, folks. I mean, what do they think? They're in a country club? They're not in a country club. It's prison. You're right, you're already the new prosecutor. Much better than Comey. Comey was crooked. Comey set that trial up. All right? Jeremy, thank you. You're so respectful. Calling me an old geezer. You know? Keep it up, buddy. I don't give a shit. Okay? The Gelatis, hello, thank you. I told you about staffing is increased at MDC. I'm with you. All that there with you, but I want to get to the very good part here, folks. Okay? The very good part. The very juicy part. Here we go. See that part that's redacted? I don't see it, but the judge sees it. Okay? The defendant convinced that he does not pose a danger because the trial record does not reflect acts of violence by the defendant between 2018, when he ended his relationship with Miss Ventura, and 2024, when he viciously assaulted her. As an initial matter, the defendant's violent attack on Jane and his years-long proclivity towards violence against Miss Ventura and others is more than sufficient to establish his dangerousness. But the defendant's suggestion that he went several years without inflicting violence on another person simply is not true. The defendant did engage in several acts of violence. The defendant's extensive history of violence and his continued attempt to minimize his recent violent conduct demonstrates his dangerousness and that he is not amenable to supervision. The defendant utterly fails to establish by clear and convincing evidence as required that he does not pose a danger to society. No, I should have been Al Capone's lawyer, okay? Folks, as we know, Maureen Comey, I didn't like her from the beginning. Didn't like her father. You know, we got some very disrespectful people, but I'm going to let them stay in here, okay? Because they look like fools and idiots because they don't know a goddamn thing. Yeah, folks, I'm 80 years old, so a lot of you are kids to me, okay? But I know the judicial system, inside, out, backwards, and forwards, okay? Good morning, Samantha. John Toomey. Folks, this was submitted by Jay Clayton, United States Attorney, by Meredith Foster, Emily Johnson, Christy Slavic, Madison Reddick Smearzer, Missy Steiner, Assistant United States Attorney of the Southern District of New York. You know, folks, I don't have a fight with Diddy. I don't like woman beaters. I don't give a shit who you are. All right? If you're a woman beater, I don't like you. And you get in front of me, all right? This old man will smash you like you never could think possible. All right? So, no matter what you want to say about Diddy, some of you love him, some don't. He's a woman beater. He will be known the rest of his life. Now, maybe sometime next week, the judge is going to make a decision on this. Maybe he'll do it today. I don't know. You know, folks, when I make my coffee with Sumatra, espresso, and I mix it. So, and I have 4 of these in the morning. So this old man, he keeps pumped up and keeps going. I came here early this morning. I wanted to get this news out to you. I wanted to do it last night. But by the time my son gave me that information, it was 10:30 here. All right? Samantha, you were beaten, so you know, okay? People understand. You got to understand, these victims, they live with that for the rest of their entire life. You know how bad that gotta be? It's terrible. Jeffrey Epstein. Everybody wants to talk about that pedophile. Would you know how old you are if you didn't know the day you were born? Well, I know the day I was born. Nancy, thank you. And Nancy, I want to thank you again for hitting that thanks button, okay? Folks, if you haven't subscribed, okay, please subscribe, like, please share this. Let's get the word out, okay? I got denied bail 4 times. 4 times I got denied bail because they said I was a violent person, but they didn't have 1 ounce, not 1 shred, not 1 tape recording, not 1 video of me being violent. But just because others said I was, 4 times I got denied bail. No, I don't think the judge will give Diddy the maximum. I feel that Diddy's going to end up somewhere between 5 to 7 years. That's my feeling. I could be wrong. Anybody got any questions? Mr. Johnson, hello. How are you? I try to say hello to everybody, folks. Sometimes, Katie Katz just came in here. Thank you, Katie, asking what we're talking about. We're talking about Diddy's file. Look at people, you can Google my name. There's much more. Trust me, I got a lot more stories to tell you when Diddy is long gone and part of history, okay? I got more story about Epstein. I got more crime story, organized crime, how I was involved, things that I did, okay, that I can keep you for years and upon years. Samantha, I've been wondering that question, whether they're going to bring new charges against Diddy. What I think they're looking at, and I think the Tupac Shakur's family, all right, they are investigating more about the death of Tupac Shakur, and KFD, who's in prison in Las Vegas for shooting Tupac, claimed that Diddy paid $1 million for it. Oh my God. Confidential Smith, that's terrible what happened in Tennessee. I don't know about it. All right? If I see Jeremy's name again, Angel, Nancy, I'll get him out of here. Don't let these people annoy you. They're people who want to come out and say things, okay? They're people who don't have a life, folks. They're probably woman beaters, just like Diddy, okay? Remember, that's who they are. Confidential Smith. See, he's confidential. He don't want to give his name, and he uses Smith, okay? So another punk, all right? So let them be rude. It just shows who they really are. They're probably broke. They don't have no money. They don't have a job, okay? Samantha, thank you. I'm going to bring somebody on with me in the future, okay? John Toomey asked me my thoughts, Trump's action with young girl. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think Trump had anything to do with young girls. Yes, he was great friends with Jeffrey Epstein for many years. And you can say all you want about Trump. We know about his trials in New York. But one thing you never heard about Trump doing was beating a woman. I don't know. Have you heard that? I haven't. And I don't doubt. I don't think Trump ever beat a woman. I don't think he likes woman beaters. So I don't think Diddy's got a shot with Donald Trump based upon that. Donald Trump has got a family. He loves his family. He's a family man. He's got a legacy that he's trying to become, and I think he's got a good shot at it. The best president ever in the United States history. Now, okay, that's what he's trying. Nancy Flowers again. Thank you, Nancy. All right, Nancy Flowers has no problem hitting that like and that thanks button. I wish some of you others would do the same. All right, so I doubt Trump had anything to do, and he's not into that kind of sex. Does he love women? Yes, and he admits it. Okay? But he doesn't molest them. I don't believe that in a heartbeat. Okay? He may like to be around young beautiful women, but he would never jeopardize his life and family with vile behavior. You're correct, PDMC 333. Okay? Grand Rapids, Michigan, good morning. Folks, I hope this was helpful to you. Okay? Now we gotta wait for the judge. The final decision is up to the judge. Somebody yesterday also said that Trump is threatening the judge about pardoning Diddy. More crap. Why do people come up with this stuff? Huh? Where do people get this? So folks, I have a very busy day today. But this was on my mind all night to get it out to you. I hope this helps. Thank you all. God bless you. Have a great day. I was brought up to respect women, never hit a woman. Men are here to protect women, okay? Yes, Trump is on the list. There's a lot of people on the Epstein list who had nothing to do with young children, who were friends with Epstein in a financial or maybe just a social setting. But it's the people who were involved. It's the Alan Dershowitz. Alan Dershowitz, yeah, remember that name. He's the guy fighting like hell to clear his name. Why would he fight like hell to clear his name if he was not guilty? Okay? They got records of him flying to the island several times without his wife. Okay? Alan Dershowitz. You got the guy that owns Facebook. What's his name? Another multi-billionaire. You got all sorts of people. Okay? So, the people that are fighting like hell, they're saying, and then Alan Dershowitz comes out and says, Magazine Disney's like a saint. What? Have you watched Filthy Rich? Folks, I told you about this. It's on Netflix. All right? It's very, very graphic. I'm a tough guy. It was tough for me to watch. That's how graphic. But you should watch it and listen to the victims of Epstein. And there wasn't one, there wasn't two, there wasn't three. There's thousands of victims. Over 1,000 young girls that guy has destroyed their lives. He's destroyed their dreams, their hopes, their ambitions because of his own personal greed. Terrible. So, folks, I'm going to get my day started. God bless you all. I thank you all for coming here. Please remember, subscribe, like, share, get the word out. I'll see you guys soon. Love you. All my love and respect to you all. Thank you. Take care.